Hello everyone, I hope you're all having a fantastic day. Today I will be unboxing this Nonna and Katyusha figure, and as you can see, I am a lazy Nonna cosplay today. These figures have a little bit of drama that goes along with them, but instead of boring you with the entire drama, because you're probably not that interested, go ahead and watch my buy video if you want to hear me be very sassy about why I will not buy from buy or using buy any longer, because they're a proxy service, so obviously I'll still buy from Japan, because that's the only way I'm getting all this crap. So let's go ahead and start with Nonna, since that's what I'm dressed like. On top of this figure, you see this little thing. It just means that I got an extra faceplate. There's a separate faceplate for both the girls, as well as a connecting arm piece. Now, I personally didn't get the connecting arm piece, and I'm a little salty about it. Basically, I had bought them with the extra arm piece, and when I got them, they didn't have the extra piece. So I screwed up, didn't include them in the package. They're really nice. They gave me half a refund on it, which honestly, half a refund, still getting the figures and not getting the faceplate, was way more than I deserved to get, if we're being really honest. I would have rather even just sent them back and tried to find them together. In order to get the faceplate for Nonna here, I actually had to rebuy her. So I do actually have two of this figure, which is not something I really wanted or needed, but that is where I find myself. I think that the box is pretty neat. I like the buildings in the background. It's a little bit different than what we usually get for Girls and Panzer. There are actually also figures of Maho and Erica in similar sort of, I'm gonna call it, streetwear, like what they'd just be wearing around. Before I take her all the way out, here she is in the blister. It looks like there are two layers to this blister, the one layer being all of her accessories back here, her hat, her bag, and her other bag. Regardless of whether you get the extra pieces or not, their bases actually go together very nicely. So if you want these figures, I highly suggest you get both. Looks like her feet pegs just go in like this rather nicely. Fantastic. Overall, I think that this figure looks just fine. I will say that I felt like the images I had looked at made her look a little bit better than how she turned out. Not saying she turned out bad, she looks fine, but I was kind of expecting more from it. More shading maybe, more contrast in the shading. So here's what the second blister looks like. Nothing too crazy. Again, just... This is why I didn't make a drinking game and take a shot every time I dropped something. I knew something was gonna fall. And I was like, I don't really want to die today, thanks. Cool thing is we have a magnet, which, you know, I love magnets. I think that the hat looks really good, actually. I think it looks adorable. The shading on the hat is fantastic. I don't know why I feel like the coat needs a little bit more, but maybe it's because her outfit's a little plain. It also could just be that the paint on the buttons doesn't look the greatest, but I also think it looks like fine enough for what you're getting. As for the hat, it's definitely not a strong magnet, but it's still a magnet nonetheless. It'll hold her hat in place, and I do think the hat is extremely cute. We have really, really well shaded bag here. I think that this is extremely well painted. I mean, look at that zipper. This is really impressive, actually. And the other bag, I feel like, feels a little bit more like the coat. It could have used more of a contrast, but again, I think it looks really good. Nothing wrong with that. And the bags are supposed to just kind of stack in her hand according to the directions, so I guess you just kind of lay them in there. Yeah, I am really happy that they put the bags separately, though, that they just kind of lay on each other like that versus being like one chunky piece. As far as I can tell from all the times I've seen this go up, if you want the Nonna faceplate, it's pretty easy to find her with the faceplate. But if you want the Katyusha one, generally you're going to have to get them as a set, because hers usually is coming with the extra arm piece. At least that's what I've seen. Obviously, someone might post it separately in a different fashion, but I just wanted to let you all know. So as for the faceplate, it looks like this. So we have a rather unhappy looking Nonna. They give you little directions on how to change their faceplate, and I actually might need them. Oh my. Okay, so this is not an easy switch, which is kind of sucky. I'm actually kind of afraid to like bend these. Just hear the slow breakage of plastic. Here's what the normal faceplate looks like versus the extra faceplate. So if you want her smiling, you just need the normal faceplate. All right, putting it back in, not terribly difficult. Not nearly as difficult as taking it out. Personally, I think I actually like this faceplate more, which is why I chose to buy another Nonna. Mind you, this one was a lot cheaper than buying Nonna and Katyusha together because it was just the one figure and she is used, so that always helps save money. I kind of am still a little bit like, I wish I got them both again, but it was so much more expensive. So to me, it wasn't really worth it just to get those extra pieces. If one day I see those extra pieces go up on their own, I'll definitely pick them up because I do think it will be really cute to have the two going together. But without rambling about that too much, let's get on to Katyusha so you can actually see what I'm talking about and how the two figures go together. I really love Katyusha's outfit. Nonna's was neat, you know, it's cool, it's cute that you get the two together, but I was actually really excited for Katyusha's outfit because I think she looks absolutely adorable. As you can see, this is quite used. We got a lot of like crud on the top of the box. So here she is in her blister. She only has one level of blisters. Here she is looking absolutely adorable. Again, I love this outfit. So her head comes off very easily, and this part of her coat is actually separate. I really like that. And I like that the top of it's even still finished. So if you didn't want to, how weird does she look? I mean, she doesn't look terrible without the fuzz on the neck piece. I think her neck looks a little long. She looks a little awkward, but you know, it's an option. They actually finished the collar and they give you that as an option, which is nice. I'm not really even sure why they give you that as an option. Maybe it's for the arm reason. And by the way, Nonna's arm will come off too. Unlike Nonna, I think that the shading on Katyusha's coat is fantastic. I also will say she does have a little skirt mold underneath, which I think is nice just because, you know, they didn't have to do that. They could have just put the panties, but they did make it look like she had a skirt on, which I do like. We don't really get a lot of Katyusha figures, so it's really exciting that we have a really wonderful Katyusha figure. I think this is absolutely adorable, and in fact she might be one of my favorites out of the Girls and Panzer figures I own. I'm not even gonna lie, I really like this design. I really love this coat. I think that the painting is fantastic. I do think that the buttons suffer from a very similar thing to Nonna's buttons, but the difference is that instead of trying to paint little X's on them, the X's are just grooved in versus them trying to actually paint over them. I think it looks really good. I guess they could have added more shading to the fur, but I don't think it's actually that important at all. It might even take away from the coat. These pegs do not line up with her at all. The back is obviously this side because it is flat, so we will put it like this, and the idea is that you can put them like so. Her pegs are metal, whereas Nonna's are plastic, which is very strange to me. She's really hard to put on here. Oh my goodness. Don't worry, Katyusha, I'll get you on there. If you wanted to get the two together, you'd put them like this. Katyusha's hat is also magnetized, and it seems to be a stronger magnet than Nonna's. Though, out of the two, I definitely prefer Katyusha. I like that if you only had her, you can display her like this, which I think makes her a lot better than if you were to try and display her like this without Nonna. Having the two together like this with Katyusha touching Nonna's shoulder, I do think looks really cute. However, the extra piece, in case you're curious, is with these two arms. You are able to remove these two arms on the figures in order to add the extra piece, which is a connecting piece making them hold hands. Katyusha's other faceplate is her also smiling like. Overall, I do highly recommend these figures, and while Katyusha totally steals the show, and again, I think she can be displayed rather nicely on her own, I will say that I think Nonna's a little bit lackluster, just because of that shading, but also because of the base. If you were to not include Katyusha and you wanted to just show Nonna, I think this base is rather awkward. Likewise, if you were to try and put her against something, say like a book or something, because of the way that her body faces, I feel like it doesn't work as well. You could put her like this, but then you're gonna have the bushes cut off. I feel like the Nonna figure really needs Katyusha to go with her, whereas again, Katyusha you really don't need the Nonna figure for. I personally love the default faces they gave you. I just personally do prefer Nonna not smiling. I don't know why. It just seems more Russian to me, I guess. Remember, if you want to get that extra connecting piece, you're going to want to find them together and buy them together and not try to search out the piece afterwards, because I can tell you right now, I've been doing that for literal months. I got these at the beginning of the year, just unboxing them now, have not ever seen the pieces just go up on their own, sadly. But regardless of how you choose to pick these up, if of course you do choose to pick these up, I hope you enjoyed this review. If you made it this far, I assume you at least somewhat like me. Please go ahead and subscribe if that's the case. I am a figure collector who collects whatever she wants, though right now it is mainly Girls und Panzer. So if you want to see what other Girls und Panzer figures are out there, go ahead and subscribe, because apparently I'm just going to collect every single piece of Girls und Panzer plastic that exists. And of course, I will review them as well as any other figures I pick up. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. Spasiba and goodbye.